Alright, so I'm going to be making a tutorial here for Dragon Age Origins 90%. So first thing I want to mention before I get into character creation is just some background stuff. You'll need to have a unpatched, completely unpatched version of the game, or a version of the game that only has the first patch, which is a 1.01b. So you need to have 1.00 or 1.01b. So none of the Steam or Origin versions will work, because those are all going to go to 1.05, which is the most recent patch by default. And Ultimate Edition of any kind, disc or otherwise, won't work either. So you basically are going to need to somehow get a disc version of the game to be able to do this. I'm running it on 1.01b, so keep that in mind if something doesn't work for you on 1.00. So you want to go Elf Mage, pick the only Origin you can here. Basically because you'll get slightly better results in your character creation. Like you'll get 22 magic as elf instead of 21 as human, and you want to pick up coercion here, which is right at the top with your skill, and then these first two fire spells, because you're gonna want to get this whole tree of fire stuff eventually, and preferably get Firewall as soon as possible, which means you have to get these two. That way you can get Fireball the first time you level up. Okay. Then just easy difficulty.
On a cliff.
Okay, so you can skip through this whole dialogue, just hit escape and 1, it doesn't matter what dialogue options you pick. I'll try to stop and slow down for dialogue options that matter, but for ones that don't, I won't. So here you just want to play these first few wisps by using Arcane Bolt. It'll kill them in one hit. So you can start moving while your spell, as soon as it like leaves your hand and starts transiting towards the enemy, you can start moving without and it won't interrupt the spell. But if you start moving while it's still kind of casting in your arms, then you'll get interrupted. So yeah, that dialogue also you can just spam through and it doesn't matter. The next one here, we'll need to make a specific choice, so I'll slow down and show that off. So you want to go 1, 1, 1, 4, 1. So basically the dialogue options here will allow us to, for that guy and the next guy we're going to talk to, allow us to avoid some extra fights. So these two guys you want to use Flame Blast. I tend to run as far as I can, then turn around and hit this guy. I'm not entirely sure if that's the best way to do this. But Arcane Bolt doesn't kill him in one shot, so you can't do that. Alright, so this guy you want to hit 1, 1,
I don't think I'd
1, 1, 3, 4, 2, 6. And that gets past this fight. So, okay, for this fight, you want to Arcane Bolt this first guy here. Then, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hold off, but I'm going to try to show it. You want to run over here, next to these tree things. Kind of stand here and try to group up all these wolves in a line so you can hit all of them. So I didn't do that, but you want to try to hit all of them. And if you hit all of them, you can just start running over here where I'm going to go next. Because although initial hit from Fire Blast won't kill them in one shot, the damage over time effect will always kill all the wolves. So you can just, if you hit all of them, then you can just run towards this guy, which is the last guy you have to fight here. And his dialogue options don't matter, you have to fight him no matter what. Same thing with the dialogue I'll get into immediately after killing him. This doesn't matter at all. Okay. So now I have to show off the first glitch. I'll explain how to do it first and then what you want to do with it next. Okay. So, this is a very good way to be able to tell if you have the right version of the game. So, what you want to do is put all your points into some stat you don't care about, which almost certainly not dexterity. Strength is the one you want to put it into, because that's the stat you definitely don't care about. So you put all your points in, you hit reset. And if you do that, it'll allow you to take out twice as many points here. Well, sorry, not really twice as many. What it'll allow you to do is it'll allow you to add 3 every time. So, for example, if I do this, add all the points in and hit reset, and then do it again, I'll be able to go up to 9, and so on. So what you want to do first here is do this 5 times so you can get up to 18 attribute points that you can take out. I didn't do enough. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So what we're going to try to take advantage of here is we're going to want to get a ton of points. And it'll allow you to carry over up to 100. If you leave them in unspent when you exit this menu. So what we're going to do here is get up to 18. Then go back into the play. Here, go back to playing. Then you want to bring up the menu again, and you'll see you start off with 18, which will allow you to start this faster, because you'll get to add on 18 every time instead of 3. So we're going to do that 4 times now, which will allow us to get up to 90. Oh, I should also mention, forgot to mention it, so the fastest way to add or take points out when you're on the screen is to hold down on the arrow with your mouse button and then spam click, so like mash alternating Control, Shift, and Alt, or all at the same time, however you feel most comfortable. So holding down Shift won't make you take out points really fast, but if you hit them over and over again, you'll take out points faster. So that's what we're going to do now. That's what we do when we're on here. So now we're going to get up to 90. And go out of the screen again. Now we want to do this 5 times. That will allow us to get up to 540 attribute points, which is how many we want. Then I'll explain how you want to spend your points. Okay, so this is an inexact process, but you probably want around 60 constitution to give yourself enough health. Around 20. Cunning, just to make sure you can get through all the dialogue options you want. About 100 willpower, just give you a large enough mana pool that it'll hopefully never matter. And then just dump the rest in magic, which will increase your spell power, which basically determines how much damage you deal. So with the amount of magic we have here, which is like 400 or so, a lot of the easier enemies will go down in one hit, and most of the harder enemies that are not bosses go down in about 2 hits. And then you just want to buy Fireball. And now you can go back to going through this Mage origin. So you're just going to want to run through here and go upstairs to do a bunch of talking to people, basically. So yeah, this whole next part is just kind of running back and forth between people, talking to them to progress this quest enough that you can move on to the next part.
It shall be done.
Alright, so you're going to want to go to the right here, follow this hallway down. I mean, you basically want to go where that little arrow is on the map, mini-map. So you automatically get brought into conversation here, and you can just skip through this conversation however you feel like. So one thing I should mention that I think is useful is if you really want to get moving like immediately out of conversation, you can hold left and right mouse button to move while you're spamming dialogue rather than having to like worry about spamming with your left hand and also trying to hold a mouse direction and also turn. Okay, so you just want to run into this room. You don't even need to run in as far as I did. You can just run in and run right back out and talk to Howe. And again, these dialogue options don't matter at all. So none of the dialogue options while we're up here will actually matter, really. You can just spam through with escape in one and be fine. So now we're just going to run back and forth between a couple more people, and then we'll be ready to leave this area. Alright. So now we go back to him. Alright. Now we're up here. We just need to grab these 2 people who join our party now. Now we're going to do some backtracking through where we were already walking. Alright. So now we need to go into the basement of the Mage Tower to kind of progress the quest line a bit. So that's this door here. So here will be the first place where I really have to explain a lot of what's going on. Okay. So, first 2 things are not going to matter. Okay, so when we get over here towards this door, we're going to have a quick little cutscene and get into combat. And you're just going to kill this guy right away. And then I'm going to do a lot of things at once. So basically what we're going to try to do is separate our 2 mages in our party from this girl and leave her by this door. So what you want to do for that is you want to switch to her. So F2, you know, hold position on her, which is H, and only the person you have selected, or person or people you have selected will follow. So you'll need to zoom out and select people. So you're not going to actually want to do this right now. You're going to want to do it after we get into this combat, but I just want to explain it now so I can do it faster. Okay, when I actually go for it.
I'm not giving up. We've come to...
Alright, so kill this guy, switch to her, tell her to go over here, zoom out, select these two people. You can know because you get these little light ups around their portraits if you have them both selected. Alright, now you just want to fireball these two guys, and now you're going to send these two guys to run over right before this door, but you don't want to open it because you'll get into combat with another set of people. You just want to have them stand right in front of it, and then switch back to her. Okay, so here's the first skip you got. I think for someone who's new, I even do it still myself, it's good to just do a quick save when you line this up, because sometimes it won't work. So you just want to line up kind of at this right angle to the door, facing this way, and then you want to turn off hold position. If you do that right, one of the people will teleport past the door. It could be either, depending on what happens. And that skips kind of a huge walking around section where you go all the way around to get into this area through this door down there. So now we just go down here. So we are going to have to backtrack to get this door that we clipped through to actually open. So we want to kill these guys. And then just hit a couple triggers that you would hit normally if you came in this way. So you want to hit that button and hit this little statue. And now you can backtrack, and this door will open for you. And that's basically the end of the Mage Warden once you go off through here. Alright, so now we got to Ostagar.
We will...
So now we just run for a bit and get over to Alistair. So we're just going to hit a couple of the normal story triggers here
Warden recruit the Duncan brought.
by talking to some people. Well, you also probably want to clear this herbalism off your bar at some point, because you're going to get a lot of spells, and at least for me, I like having to move them around less, or not having them go off the edge and open up the spell book. And this will make sure that doesn't happen. Okay. So this part of the game, you're starting to collect the stuff you need for the Grey Warden initiation. So you get these two other party members. And you go off to Lyle. So this saves only a small amount of time, but if you talk to this guy, if you try to go up to the gate, this guy will initiate a conversation with you anyway, so if you just talk to him, you'll initiate the same conversation and be able to go in a little faster than if you walked all the way over to the gate. Alright, so now I'd like to put on flaming weapons here, which will actually make your party members pretty useful, because the damage bonus from it is related to spell power on the character who casts it, so Um, I'll make your other party members do a reasonable amount more damage. So you just want to wait for all those wolves to gather around you, then fireball and kill them all. There's a couple that lag behind that the rest of your party should be able to kill. Okay, so now up here, there's 3 guys up on the hill. You want to make sure your fireball is kind of pointed at the middle guy, so it'll hit all 3 of them. And then you're going to want to use fire or flame blast when the other 2 guys get close to you that are kind of more in this slope down. And so you can kill them both with a single spell. So you're going to do 2 spell casts here. Fireball. And then flame blast. If you do that right, you should get both of them. I didn't get both of them though, so. Alright, so now here, you're going to run through the rest of this area by yourself, so you want to turn on hold position. Make sure you don't loot any of these guys too. That's an important part of getting through this. Also I should mention, you do start off with 3 potions. That could be useful to make sure you don't die at certain points. You'll lose them eventually, whether or not you use them, but for the first chunk of the game, you'll have them. Okay, so now you're going to run through here. So, upcoming here, we got a huge group of enemies. So, there's a bridge kind of here, there's a mage darkspawn there, and there's 2 cloaked guys you can't see here right now. So, we're going to try to run past all these enemies, and you'll eventually get out of combat with most of them. But sometimes these 2 rogue ones will stay in combat with you and continue to chase you no matter how far you go away from them, which is not ideal. So it might be useful to try to at least kill off one of them right when you run up to this bridge here, which is what I'll try to do, which will hopefully keep them out of combat. From what I understand, only if they're uncloaked will they continue to chase all the way, so if they go into stealth, and you keep running, and they never come out of stealth because they never get close enough to you, then you'll eventually get out of combat. So you can see this guy here. So there's another one as well. Who actually got killed by that fireball, which is nice. But I got knocked down, which is not nice. So you just want to run past these guys. Don't even worry about killing them. That's why you left the rest of your party behind, so they won't try to fight these guys. So they won't die, because if one of your people is down, you can't get out of combat. Okay, so yeah, now you see we're out of combat. So this went well. So yeah, I did take a lot of damage there, so I'm gonna heal up. This is the last group of enemies you will not want to fight. So you're going to want to group up all except for this guy on the left to one fireball just by kind of running towards this pillar here, and then turn around and kill him with arcane bolt. Okay. Now you're going to loot guys here. You're going to be looking to get 2 vials of darkspawn blood. So this guy has 1. The Herlock Alpha will always have 1, and one of these other guys always has 1, but you might need to check a couple to see which one exactly it is. Alright, so now we're going to grab these treaties and talk to Morrigan and stuff. And this is going to basically teleport us back to the camp in Ostagar. So if you remember this, we actually should be getting 3 vials of darkspawn blood, not 2, to progress this quest the normal way, which is not what we're trying to do. So we're intentionally trying to get 2. So that's why it's important to not loot too many enemies, because what we want to do can't be done if you actually have all the vials. Alright. So now we're going to talk to Duncan up here. So basically what we're going to take advantage of here is an experience glitch where he tells us that we haven't actually completed this quest, but for some reason it still gives us the experience points like we complete the quest. And we can keep on doing that over and over again. So that's what we're going to do here. You probably just want to look at your experience bar down below and keep track. So you're going to want to get up to level 10. You always be level 2, almost level 3 at this point when you get back here. So you're going to want to do this all the way until you get level 10. So you just essentially what you do, you right click, you hit 1, you escape a few times. Hit 1 and escape a few times. Do it again. Not exactly sure how many times you need to do it because I pay attention just by watching the bar. So, but if you find it easier to like figure out how many times you do it and count, then that might be helpful. But I feel like you're doing it fast enough that it might be harder for you to count rather than just follow the bar's progress. So anyways, that's what I'm going to do here. So we're now level 3, 4, 5. Hello. 6. 7. I can't count. I lost track. This is 8, right? Yeah. Okay. Thought I might have like forgotten to count 1. 9. Alright. So, you don't really care about any of your specializations or attributes the rest of the game, so you can just safely ignore those. So you're going to want to get all the rest of the ranks of coercion here. Alright, now spell-wise, I go with Inferno, all the ranks here to get up to haste, which allows you to move faster. Then you want Walking Bomb, Death Siphon, and Vulnerability Hex. So you don't actually care about any of these things other than haste, so I just get them off your bar now. Then I like to bind my stuff in a specific way. It's actually faster to do this if you're doing it while you're running somewhere, but I just want to point out what I'm doing while I'm doing it. And now you need to run back in here, because you do need to still grab that last vial of blood to progress the story. Okay. So, if you did this right, there's a bunch of corpses on the ground up where you fought this first group of Darkspawn by this hill thing here. The ones right in front of you that came down to attack you should have a vial on it like that. And then you just, oh, I should mention, you should still have hold position on this whole time, so you can just switch back to one of your other characters. And exit quickly. So, one thing I should mention now, because this is coming up now, is that you've probably noticed that these loading screens start to get really long the longer you've played. So that's unfortunately an unavoidable thing, no matter how good your computer is. You know, there's things you can do to lessen it, but it's just a memory leak that's inherent in the game. So unfortunately, what you have to do in this game to take care of that being a problem is you have to save and quit a few times. Because not only will it mess around with loading screens, it'll mess around with stuff like enemy behavior, and it can eventually cause your game to crash. So I do that 4 times throughout the run, and the first time I do it is here. So I just quick save, exit your game, and restart. And quickly resume. So my times don't actually take this out right now just because the load time remover I have doesn't. And since I'm not really competing with anyone else, there isn't a reason to, but realistically, if necessary, that time would just get counted out anyway, so don't worry if you are not that fast at restarting the game or whatever. Okay, so now we actually are not going to turn this quest, even though I said we needed to grab stuff to advance the story. That's because you can see now it's nighttime here. And to progress the story at all, it needs to be nighttime here. Because the door I'm going to try to go through up here doesn't exist on the daytime version of this map, only on the nighttime version of the map. So I'm actually going to skip the Grey Warden joining, which will prevent these two temporary party members that are supposed to die during the initiation from dying, and stay with me for as long as I choose to keep them, which is quite a while. So now again, you're going to just do another clip past a gate, like you did in the basement. Again, kind of lining up at a right angle to the gate, facing the wall there. And teleporting best. Pretty much 100% of the time for me, it's Alistair who teleports past when it does it, so unlike the one in the basement, you can kind of reasonably expect the same person to show up there every time. Okay, so now you want to turn hold position back on, put Death Siphon on, which it gives you mana for every enemy's corpse you're near. And now you're just going to run through this area. You're going to have to kill a lot of these enemies, but we're going to try to group them all up in one area. Which is by the stairs at the end of the exit to this floor. You're going to want to kind of wait for them to all be grouped up and fireball. And if you do it right, all of them should be dead within the one fireball. So here's another dialogue. This doesn't matter, so you can just skip past this. So you're basically going to have hold position on the entire time you're in the tower, up until the ogre fight, which is the final floor. Alright, so here, this is kind of tricky, because unlike a lot of times where you can just focus in on a single enemy, you want your fireball here to kind of go to the left of this guy. In the front row, so you can hit all of these enemies just barely on the both edges of the circle of this thing. So you can fireball them, and then you just want to walking bomb any one of these enemies, and then arcane bolt the same one. You walking bomb, so he'll detonate because he'll die. And you want to wait until all of them are kind of grouped around you before you try to detonate him. So here you might want to heal up. You're going to take a lot of damage on the next floor, so I would definitely heal up here. And so for this part, I'm going to try to show it off. But this is another hard placement of a fireball, and I can't really show it off that well, but you can kind of see through the somewhat transparent door there's like a table in this room. So you're going to want to place your fireball kind of centered just a little bit from this corner of the table forward. And hopefully if you place it right, you can kill all of these enemies with a single fireball. But this one is much harder to do than the one I just talked about, so be prepared to potentially have to kill some other guys.
I shall do it.
Yeah, so this guy tends to be the one who gets missed out. So sometimes, I mean, honestly, you might want to go, rather than right out from the corner, kind of even more like where that is. So not exactly straight out from the corner towards the door, but a little bit off to the side, so you can hit this guy. But it's tough to do it fast enough and place it right.
Shall be done. Lothering better be ready to charge as soon as
So here we're gonna, again, kind of like the first floor, run all the way to the end of the floor. And group up a ton of enemies and try to kill them all at once. it's kind of unrealistic to kill every single enemy here in one go. It is possible though, if you get a little lucky. But it tends to be that there's some guys here, so I like to flame blast these guys up on the stairs while I'm waiting for everyone down there to gather up. Yeah, so you can see what I mean here. So yeah, that one's kind of difficult to do fast. Alright, so now you're going to go to the final fight here, which is the ogre fight. So here you might want to turn everyone off hold position so they'll go run in at the guy. So now you're going to want to shoot this guy with vulnerability hex, then walking bomb, then arcane volt, then fireball. And if you still need a little more, the damage over time should probably kill him on its own, and you can just run over towards this fireplace looking thing here, which is where you need to hit a button to advance. So that's what I'm going to try to do. What? I hit the wrong button. Oh, I don't have autosave on either. Okay, well, whatever. I probably should put that on. Okay. So you don't want to have what I just had happen here, but I kind of screwed up. Which is... turn autosave on. Get this really long death animation. You want one of your spells to kill him, because if he gets killed by someone with a weapon, you can play this really long death animation on the ogre before you can hit the beacon.
You would in.
So again, dialogue that doesn't matter. And more dialogue that doesn't matter. Alright. So, you're probably going to notice here that these guys are still in my party. Actually, it's probably more important to mention it when I was still in there. So at any area where you're only supposed to be the Warden by yourself, you actually have these extra party members with you because they don't get kicked out of your party because they don't expect you to have them there ever. So that's kind of the main reason why we're going to take them with us, but we'll get into that more later. Here you just want to leave. Also, we do technically have 5 people in our party here right now. Morgan's technically in our party, even though she doesn't have a thing there. You're never supposed to have 5 people in your party. But you have 3 and it automatically adds Alistair and Morgan. Okay, so here's a dialogue that does matter. You're going to want to hit 1, 1, 2, 1. And you want to put haste back on because it'll take it off automatically whenever you get to the hut there where Flemeth is. Alright, so now you're just going to run through most of Lothering and just go directly to where Sten is in the cage here. You're going to talk to him first, and then you're going to unlock him. So here you can just spam 1 to talk to him, and cycle through all the dialogue options you need. Now you want to switch to Davith, who is this rogue temporary party member, and use him to unlock the cage. Okay, now you want to take Jory, who's that guy, out of your party, and then double click on Morgan to add her back in the right way to your party, rather than as the 5th party member. Because even though you can select her as a 5th party member, you can't actually cast spells while you're doing that, and you're going to want to use Morgan here. Alright, so now you want to switch to Morgan, use Flying Swarm, which is this bug-looking spell, which makes you move a lot faster. And you're going to want to go over here to where these guys are. And then just kill them all. And then just run towards the end of this bridge and exit here. Okay. So that kind of ties up the first half of the run. The second half of the run is definitely got a lot more going on in terms of glitches and stuff. Although there's already some of that going on. So yeah, you can see we still have one of these party members. So we only really need to keep one of them around this whole time. Okay, so now I'm going to save here because I want to try to point something out, hopefully. That is important to understand, which is the different random events you can get here. So just add Sten and Morgan to your party here. Okay, so whenever you leave Lothering and go to Denerim, which is the next place you want to go, you're always going to get one random encounter along the road. There's 3 different ones you can get. Hopefully I'll be able to show off at least 2 of them. There's one that's kind of... Well, hopefully I can show off at least the most important one to understand. The other 2 are less common. So I'll try reloading this a few times to show the other ones off, if I don't get the ones I want. It's always a Davith that I keep, yeah. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so this is the one I thought I wouldn't get. So here you want to hit 3. This is the least likely one to get. So you hit 3, leave and skillfully evade their trap. You want to set everyone on hold position here. And you want to run over this way. Keep running. And you want to get up to this world map trigger here. So it doesn't really matter if you keep Davith or Jory, honestly. I've just always kept Davith. So rather than hit this trigger, I'm going to try to show off the other ones. So yeah, this is the worst one to get. It's also the least common one to get. So yeah. Hopefully I can show off the other ones. Okay.
Yes. Indeed.
Okay, so this is the most common one to get, and this is the one you would definitely want to get. So basically this encounter has 4 darkspawn enemies that you have to kill. And then you just run over to where this signpost is and leave, once you kill all of them. So this is the one you want to get because you're only going to spend 2 times traveling on this world map, this version of the world map. You travel a lot on the Denerim map. But you only traveled twice on this one, and this one is so likely to get that if you don't get it on the way into Denerim, you will almost certainly get it when you leave Denerim to go to Redcliffe. So you want to get it on the way there, because ideally you'll get this on the way there and then get nothing on the way to Redcliffe. But if you get either of the other 2 events, so the one I just showed before this one, or another one, you'll almost certainly get this event as well on your second time along the map screen. Okay, so now you just want to kill these guys. Hopefully I can show the last one. Last one is the easiest one to understand, so yeah. I actually got pretty lucky here, I got to kill them all. Okay, just kill all of them, and run over here, and you'll hit the world map thing. Okay, let me try to show the last one. Give it a couple of shots.
Yes. Indeed.
Nope. Thankfully, if I don't get it in a couple tries, I can still very easily explain what to do on that one. Which is the one that honestly takes the least amount of time to do. Okay, this is the last one you can get. So there's just this dwarf merchant guy in front of you It's like a cart, some boxes and stuff. You just want to turn around and immediately leave. So that makes up all the 3 random encounters you can get on the map here in the main map, world map screen. Okay. So here's where I do my second save and quit, so I'm going to do that now. But one thing I want to point out here, it's something you're going to be doing a lot of, which is turning off abilities so you can get their cooldown off cooldown. So, or get their abilities off cooldown faster when you save and reload. So you'll see here that Morgan left my party, so she no longer has haste cast on us. And the only way to get haste cast on her is to turn it off and turn it back on. So I'm going to turn it off here before saving and quitting. Okay. That way, when I load back in, haste will be off cooldown and I can get it cast on Morgan faster. That's not that important at this specific location, but there are other places where it does make a big difference when you do that. Alright, so now cast Flying Swarm on Morgan, cast Haste on the Warden. Okay, so now we're going to go through the biggest skiff of the game. This one's actually not that hard. This is just like all the gate clips you've seen so far. So you're going to want to set everyone else on hold and then run with Morgan. Well, fly with Morgan, I guess, over to this gate here. And again, do a similar kind of thing where you try to kind of line up facing the wall. So this one you might have to do a couple times to understand what is actually facing, counts as facing forward. Because if you're facing kind of at a weird angle here, they won't teleport past. And it might not be obvious that you're doing it. So yeah. This corner. And so Davith is the one who tends to teleport the most past this gate, but I sometimes get the other party members as well. And they're just going to want to run over to this door here. So what this did is it skipped all the treaty quests for recruiting the dwarves and the elves and Redcliffe and the mages to support you and get you directly into the Landsmeet section of the game, which is not supposed to happen until after you've done all of those things. Okay, so here is a good example of why I want to keep Davith around. So we're going to tell him to run over to the door here, hold position, and then send the Warden back here to talk to Arleman. Again, dialogue that doesn't matter here. And then, yeah, you see you can just switch back to him.
Yes.
Alright, so now you just want to grab Sten and Morgan again. And leave. Okay. I'm going to make another save here, because there's a possibility I'll get a pretty good possibility to get a random event here, and I need to explain the Denerim ones as well. So, oh, I should mention, one thing a lot of people don't know about this game is if you hit M to bring up the map, local map, and then hit world map, you can actually travel with that. You don't need to like run to an area exit, which is an important thing we make use of. I think 3 times. So yeah, you're going to want to go to Earl of Denerim's estate. If I don't get a random event here, I'll definitely make sure to stop at some point and explain them all. There's only 2 that can happen in Denerim, but there's a lot of different potential places where you might get them. Okay, so now we're going to do...
Why are we stopping?
So first thing you want to do is talk to Sten and just hit 1 to negate his initial conversation. Okay, so now you want to pause. And then tell 2 different party members to talk to Sten. So Warden, Morgan, all remaining paused. And then you can unpause.
Yes,
So now you're going to want to pick the option 4, I think you should leave,
I see.
and then just spam 1. Okay. And then
Yes.
continue spamming 1. So what basically happens is you kick him out of your party, and then it tries to play the second conversation, and it for some reason teleport you to some default position on the map. It's the same place for every individual map. So every time you use this glitch on Earl Denerim State exterior, you'll always get teleported to this specific location. So pretty much every map you use this on, it'll teleport you out of bounds. There's only one I know of that it doesn't actually put you out of bounds, which you're in another position that happens to be in bounds. But yeah, another thing to keep in mind. So again, we're gonna want to get things off cooldown. So have the Warden turn off haste. Switch to Morgan, quick save. But we're not gonna exit out of the game here. Just quick load.
Very well.
All right. So again, put these two abilities back on to make yourself move fast. Okay. So now you want to have these guys all in hold position, and you're gonna run out of bounds over to this tower thing. Maybe it would be more useful for you to look on the minimap and understand where I am. There's this wall here. There's two towers. The one on the, not the one on the edge, but the one immediately to the left of that. And you want to just turn off hold position, and it'll teleport them back in bounds. Then you just fireball these two guards up here. And go in through this door. So yeah, you'll see me a lot of times just spamming right click on the doors. That's just to get indoors as fast as possible. So as soon as you get out of combat. So one thing I should mention here is whenever you do this glitch with stun, it'll kick Morgan out of Flying Swarm, which is unfortunate because we'd like to keep her in it as much as possible. But yeah, so we're gonna do the same glitch again. So two people talk to stun.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just 4, 1, 1, 1 for that always. Okay, so now we're back to Morgan, and we're gonna quick save, quick load to get Flying Swarm off cooldown so we can turn it back on.
Very well.
So here, this, so sometimes you might need to move around a little bit to get people out of your way, but you want to turn on hold position, and I'm going to try to fly closer to the map so you can see where I'm actually going. I usually fly a little bit further out to circle around easier. But yeah, so you're just going to want to kind of go around the outside edge of the map. So you definitely need to use minimap to navigate here. You can't see like anything. Alright, so what you want to do is you can see the little marker there for an area exit. You're going to want to kind of navigate over to that without going too close to the inbounds. Yes, okay. So now you might want to save because this is very precise. Your positioning here to make sure you get inbounds at the right spot. But you just want to turn off Flying Swarm now by hitting Q. And if you do it right, you should be right in front of this door, which brings you into the dungeon. You just want to go through the door. Right, so you don't want to use hold position to get it there because a lot of the times they'll get teleported into higher, lower areas that are near there, and that doesn't really do any good because there's a bunch of enemies hanging around. Alright, so now we have a fight with Howe. So we're actually entering this dungeon through the door you're supposed to exit it through. So we're actually right next to where Howe is rather than on the other side of the dungeon and having to fight our way through to him. So he's actually right on the other side of the street. So for his fight, we're going to lead off by using vulnerability hex on him, then walking bomb, then a fireball, then arcane ball, and then cleaning up the rest of the enemies with your other fire attacks. So, you know, fire blast, and fireball, whatever you need to use. Sometimes you might not even need to use arcane bolt on him, depending on how your luck is with your damage over time. Alright, so really important thing to point out here. There's a little cutscene that's going to play here with Howe dead that you're going to see in a second. So you absolutely have to have that play before you go back upstairs, even though you can loot him before that and run back upstairs. If you do everything fast enough, you need to have that play. Otherwise, the story won't, or the quest triggers won't progress right. And now you're just going to go back upstairs. So you definitely need to loot him because you need to get a key to open the door that's going to be behind us now when you go back upstairs. Which is this door here. Alright, so you can just completely ignore these enemies, and you want to run over to where your quest marker is here, for where the queen is. Okay, so now what you want to do is set everyone to hold position. So this is going to be showing off the main reason we're going to be carrying Devith with us this whole way. So there's a boss fight you could do here that takes quite a while, even considering all of our broken stats. And it's much easier to just skip the whole fight by doing some maneuvering with a trick here. So basically what happens is Davith never gets kicked out of your party when you get imprisoned. And if you told him to be on hold position, he gets left by the door to exit the whole prison escape sequence. So here you want to hit 1, then 2. Then just switch to Davith, and you'll be at the map. So I'm going to save here. Because there's a very good chance I could get a random event here. So one thing I want to point out, maybe I should have pointed it out there. Yeah. Okay. So this is like the pretty much the worst part to, or worst place to get a random event. In Denerim, because you only have the 2 party members with you. But I'll show this one off anyway. So this is one of the 2. This one is the much worst one to get. So there's just a bunch of enemies you have to kill, basically. This one has more enemies that are spread out more, thus making it harder. So you just want to kill them all. Did I not kill this guy somehow? He must not have gotten hit by. It might also be useful to put flaming weapons back on, so it actually does damage to them. So he'll never actually die once you get to this point of the game. So I'm gonna make another extra save here, because I just want to reload that save to point something out that you can do if you want to. So this, what I'm showing to you will definitely be worse if you're going for like an absolute amazing time, but because you'll definitely take a time hit versus not getting any random events. But it's definitely on average maybe a little faster if you were to get a random event. Oh, you can't actually do it here. Interesting. Oh, no, I can. Never mind. So one thing you can do to avoid getting random events in certain areas, this is one of them, is to... So you can only do this anytime you would be going from somewhere else back to the market district. So you can just go to the camp and then go to the market district from there.
Yes. Indeed.
By just going to Denerim. I think, honestly, it's worth doing that, generally, unless you really, really want a good time. There's only 2 places you can do that, because you only go from somewhere else back to the market district on that map twice, and that's one of the 2 places. You're going to want to put haste back on here as well. So you might need to save in quick save and quick load to get it off cooldown, because it, like earlier, after the tower in Ostagar, it'll automatically get turned off when you get put into prison. Okay. And again, taking use of leaving him behind by the exit. So this is actually one area where we do need to walk over to the exit rather than just go onto the map. So if you can see, we can't access the alienage from the map like this. So instead, we need to walk over there. So what you want to do is turn off haste, quick save, quick load. Put Morgan on Flying Swarm, put haste on, just like before. And again, have everyone on hold position here. So it may seem like you would want to go this straight way, because the alienage is actually basically straight ahead of where we are now. But there's a guy who will talk to you and kick you out of Flying Swarm if you try to go this way. So you instead just want to go around this center market area to avoid that happening. If you do get if you do have to talk to that guy too, you also get a guaranteed random event that you wouldn't have normally gotten, which is bad. Okay, so hopefully this is the other random event, so I can show this one off. No, this is the same one I already got. I guess I'll have to show it off. What's the best way to show it off? Just on the way to the Landsmeet. So, yeah. I wonder. No, I'll show that one off later.
Enemies approaching.
Bad at aiming. Okay, so that's the same random event. Basically because I reloaded the save that didn't get this instead of going back from that save where I already did this. So you'll never get that random event twice in an actual event. Alright, so now you're just gonna out of bounds again. Here you don't actually care about Morgan.
Yes.
So you can just put everyone on hold position and run with the Warden, because you have a relatively short distance. So you just want to go to this corner and then teleport everyone past. And there's a door here. Okay. So, here's some more dialogues that you have to care about when you're talking to the slavers. Yeah.
What is the meaning of this? The humans talk a
So you want to
great
hit
deal
1,
about how very wrong slavery is,
2,
but enough.
1,
Do we know?
1, and you can just go 1
Well, what is done is
the whole rest of the way. Which is basically making a deal with the slavers. And then leave. Yeah, so you're better at aiming than I am. Yeah, aiming in this game is hard to do fast. Like, honestly, this game, at least speedrunning wise, like, it takes some kind of first person shooter type skills, because you have to be good at aiming stuff really fast if you want to go fast. Alright, so here is the area where I do my third save and quit. So there's only one more save and quit other than that one. Getting towards the end. I mean, it's not really like a first-person shooter, but it's like similar kind of. I mean, if you're good at first-person shooters, it'll probably be easier for you to do some of the spell aiming stuff you have to do in this one. Yeah, so you just want to put flanks around Morgan and then go all the way back to Arlene's estate. Pretty much the same way you did when you were going to the alienage, so going the long way around rather than the more direct way. Now we're just doing one more conversation with Eamon, and then we can head to the Landsmeet. This is a relatively short conversation. Alright, so here you're forced to take Alistair with you, so you want to take Sten with you, not Morgan. Because there is one random event you could get where you would want to be able to go out of bounds, which is the one I didn't get yet. Hopefully we'll get it. It doesn't look like I'm gonna get it. I should have made a save where I can show it off. I don't know what I can do. So here you just want to hit 4 then 1 with our conversation. Yeah, I'm gonna make a save here and try to show off that that last random event.
Yes.
Didn't get it.
I can.
That's what you don't want to have happen. So yeah, very important to hit 4 and 1 there. But I was just clicking through quickly because I was just gonna reload a save anyways. Wrong button. Why am I getting such good luck?
The
You know what? I can explain this one with this save. Actually, I can't. Never mind. Because I don't have everyone there. So yeah, I was gonna try to switch to that other save because it's at least the same map, even if it's a different event that happens. But no such luck. I might have another save I can look at quickly. Let me just quickly look at some of my other saves. District. Okay. Here we go. This should work. Alright, so on the other random event you can get in this alley, you'll get put it instead at the door that you would exit on the one I've already shown off. So here you do want to go out of bounds. So just have two people talk to Sten.
Why are we stopping?
If I can point out. What?
Very well.
What? What happened?
Yes,
What?
I see.
I don't know what I did there.
Yes.
Whatever. Okay. So now we're out of bounds. So you want to have everyone hold position now. So you can see it puts us out of bounds kind of near where the stairs we were. So basically the reason why... Oh, crap. I had hold position on and I turned it off. I'm just going to have to reload the save.
Why are we stopping?
That's why, because this is before I talked to them the first time.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright. So. Get out of bounds here. Leave them there, and you're just going to have them teleport to the door that you exit through. Which is this one here. So. And then you can just have them go through the exit. So. The reason why you don't want to do this for the one where you have to exit up here is because if you go out of bounds down here, from down here, it'll still put you in the same spot, but it'll put all your party members there, and if you try to teleport them past, it won't work, because they'll just run over to you rather than teleport, which won't get you back in bounds. Which is kind of unfortunate, because this one does take a bit longer. Yeah, the fights for the one where you'd start down there and want to teleport in here are longer, but yeah. Okay. Anyways, back to the main stuff. So, Landsmeet fight. So this fight can be really stupid for a couple of reasons. Oh, I turned off hold position there, by the way. So here you, no matter what, because you skipped pretty much everything, there's nothing you can do to avoid fighting here. So you want to use vulnerability hex on Logan followed by Inferno. So the thing I want to mention about this fight is that he has like a tendency to like be stuck at like 1 HP for a while, and it still won't trigger the next phase of the fight where you fight him one-on-one. I don't really know what causes that, but you might just have to keep casting spells at him for a while and hit him to one multiple times because he'll get healed back up a little bit, and just keep doing that and it'll eventually trigger. But yeah, so vulnerability hex,
Very well.
Inferno, just kind of spam whatever spells you got until he dies. Unfortunately, it can be also hard to see where he is sometimes. Yeah, so you can see right now, he's like stuck at 0 health and he's not triggering. So that was pretty fast actually. So now you just want to basically solo him. So just vulnerability hex, arcane bolt, fireball,
What is wrong?
and spam 1 to go through the rest of this. Alright. Okay, so now we're heading into the final stretch, as it were. The real endgame of endgame, point of no return. So, You can also do this same map thing to bring up the world map. You just have to hit the extra button. Now you want to go to Red Cliff. So yeah, I got a random event here, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so if I went, I proceeded on a save that didn't do this one, but ideally if you had done this one on your first wave through, you wouldn't get this on the way out of Denerim. So yeah, that's also a more typical fight. It's pretty hard to get the fireball off fast enough and placed in the right way to make sure you get the alpha as well with it. So I'd really focus on killing the other 3 guys and just spamming anything left over at him. Alright, so now we're gonna level up a bit more. We want some more spells than what we have. So we're gonna grab Virulent Walking Bomb and Drain Life here. Because being able to heal ourselves is good and we want an extra damage over time type effect. So I set everyone to hold here because they have a tendency to like chase this guy down, and that can trigger more guys to attack you,
As you say.
rather than just being able to hit this transition fast and only have to fight the one guy. And so here's a pretty complicated fight. So you want to run forward first. Try to group all these guys up, including this alpha on the stairs, so you can kill a huge number of guys at once. Alright, now you want to kill these 2 emissaries on the side. I tend to go with Vulnerability Hex, Arcane Bolt, Drain Life. And then for this guy, probably something like Virulent Walking Bomb, Arcane Bolt. Okay, now you want to run over here and cast Inferno on this huge group of enemies that are going to keep spawning through here. Alright, so I got pretty good luck here. Everyone else behind me is already cleared up. So I just want to keep killing these guys that come through here. And eventually you get an ogre. That was actually pretty good. So for the ogre, you probably actually want to use Walking Bomb on the other guy, not Virulent Walking Bomb. But anyways, actually it doesn't really matter, because they do same amount of damage. Or actually no, they don't. Yeah, but whatever. Ideally you'd have Vulnerability Hex, Walking Bomb, Walking Bomb, and then some sort. This Inferno will still be going on. You can kill this guy pretty fast. Again, just like the ogre before, you want to have him die to a spell of some kind, whether it be your damage over time effect or some final spell cast, rather than one of your teammates having a weapon kill him. Okay. So that's pretty good. Alright. So now this dialogue will come. You want to hit 1, then 2 to get through that dialogue as fast as possible. So basically, we just have a couple people to talk to in here, and then we're really in the final sequence of the game. So this dialogue, just 1 plus escape, will get you through. Now you're going to want to go upstairs. So up here, we're going to do our last save and quit. So this save and quit is actually for more than just the reasons of making the game not crash and long loading screens and stuff. I mentioned briefly that the memory also affects enemy behavior. That's really important on the fight you're going to do after you talk to Morgan here. So you want to save and quit before you get into that fight. to optimize enemy behavior. So basically what the enemies will do if you are under severe effects of memory leak is that they'll just won't do anything. Like their behavior will just be abandoned. It'll stand around until you get close to them, rather than do stuff in the background when you're far away from them. So you basically want them to not get stuck in like corners really far away from you. You want them to run towards you, which is what this will accomplish. So here I just spam one, which will make the pact with Morgan to do some bad things. And just skip through some cutscenes. And now you're going to be on this fight. So this is probably the hardest fight to do optimally. So you want to lead off by just infernoing this central area right in front of you. Oh, should have Death Siphon on here. I probably should have already turned it on, but I do this up too. So you want to actually go Vulnerability Hex, then Arcane Bolt on this guy, then Drain Life if you need to. So now we're just gonna basically clear up enemies in this area over here until our Inferno is off cooldown again. And then we're gonna cast Inferno over here. So just want to use a bunch of area spells basically to kill as many enemies as you can. Definitely want to try to get these enemies that are kind of lingering too if you can. You just want to kill as many as possible before Inferno gets off cooldown, and then just cast Inferno right where you're standing up on this hill here. Alright, so now we can ignore these guys for a bit and run over and try to clear up some of the other enemies. So generally there's a reasonable sized group here, just a couple guys over here. So ideally what will happen is those enemies back in the corner will all be dead. Yes, so this is ideally what would happen. So you'll see this quest updated thing once all the enemies are dead. And you just want to talk to Warden as easily as you can. Alright, so here's a really, really important thing. You need to kick Davith out of your party now and just take everyone else with you. Otherwise you're going to get an extra sequence that you really don't want to have happen. So another thing that you may or may not remember, depending on how recently you've played, is that you're supposed to get a sequence where you play as some of your companions, because it's supposed to split up your party there, and you're supposed to switch over to playing as the ones you leave behind for a bit. If Davith is the only one you leave behind, and you take all your real party members with you, that sequence won't trigger. So now you just want to go to Market District and then leave immediately, and that'll allow you to go to the Palace District. So yeah, if you screwed up, you'd get a random event invite here, but as you can see I won't get it. Well, it'll act like a random event, and that's how it'll trigger the sequence where you play as the rest of your party. Okay, so now you want to level up and grab the last spell you're going to care about, which is Winter's Grasp, which is just another good single target spell that you want for the final boss. Now you want to go out of bounds again.
Yes.
Yes.
Then do your similar kind of thing with getting stuff off cooldown. And again, setting everyone on hold. So this is a out of bounds where you want to actually navigate by vision rather than minimap. So you can see this kind of tower and this arch here. You want to head in generally towards that, a little bit to the right where this hill is. As you can see, you can't see anything on your minimap. And there's a gate over here, that's what we're going to try to get to. So yeah, it'll eventually teleport you up, rather than being underneath the map. So here, I would save, because if you screw this up, you might get into combat and then really have some bad things happen. But you need to zoom out and then try to right-click on this gate, because it won't work otherwise. You won't be able to select the gate unless you zoom out far enough that it thinks you're like right next to it. It'll eventually teleport you directly on the other side of the gate, and if you're lucky, you'll never get in combat. And now we just head up to Fort Dragon. Alright, so this is another difficult fight. And it can vary a lot based on a little bit of luck. So first thing you want to do is tell the soldiers to come, turn off, hold position, fireball these guys on the right. Okay, next thing you're going to want to do is go straight for this dragon, vulnerability hacks, Winter's Grasp, and one of your other spells. Single target spells, so either Drain Life or Arcane Bolt. Now you want to kill these guys here if they're not already dead, and then run up towards this left side here, and Inferno, kind of like this, so you hit the guys in the left and kind of in the middle too.
Very well.
And once you do that, you're going to want to try to kill these guys on the right side by Fireball, some other spells. And you're here, from here on, you're basically just trying to clean up whatever enemies are left. And if you're lucky, none of your teammates will go down at all. If your teammates do go down, like way behind you, you're going to need to run close to them so they stand back up. And then you'll be able to transition, because that'll get you out of combat. So, like, if they get knocked down, dead, they only revive if you're nearby. Like, if you're far away, even if there's no enemies around, they still won't revive. Okay. So this is a bit tricky, too. This has also changed relatively recently. So you're going to want to tell everyone to go on hold position, and you're just going to try to run for a bit. So this is actually the one area in the game where out of bounds won't do you any good. It puts you right, basically where I am right now in this room. So you're going to want to fireball this guy and then keep running past him. Basically fireball him to knock him down, to limit how many spells he can cast on you. Alright, so now you're going to fireball this Shape Changer on the right, and try to clear him up with probably a Drain Life, because you're probably going to be running low on health like I am right now. And you're going to keep running. I'm going to die here probably. So yeah, that's unfortunately something that can happen. I got Curse of Mortality, so that's really bad because you can't heal if you have Curse of Mortality. So I'm going to just reload this autosave. So yeah. This is a bit of a riskier strategy. I'll try to show... Maybe I should show the old one that's slower but less likely to have something go horrible wrong. Or go horribly... Ah! I hope that's... I should move them like further back just to make sure they don't get chased down. Okay. I'll try to show this fast way off and then I'll show off the slow way. So yeah, this is the guy who would cast, what's it called on you? Curse of Mortality. So, you really don't want that to happen. It's a bit of luck, like I mentioned. Another good thing to have happen here is there's a trap there. Or another spellcaster, both of which can knock you down. It's bad. So here you want to get basically up to this pillar, and then cast Inferno. Then run towards these stairs here. Most of the smaller enemies should be cleaned up by this, but Conjurer, for example, will follow you probably. The Emissary followed me as well, but now I can go upstairs. So yeah. The slower way of doing that basically involves using the out of bounds trick to teleport in that first room, which will put you past some of the enemies in that first room, and you just want to kill the one boss level enemy there, and just running through the rest of there and killing everything as you go, rather than trying to bunch them all up. Definitely a safer way, but slower. Okay, so we're almost at the end now. So one last out of bounds.
Yes.
We
Yes.
have the final boss. Alright. So I should mention something that's really, really important to avoid here. So you definitely want to make sure you're far out from this area where you want to exit through, because if you get too close, you'll get in combat, and getting in combat with these enemies right near the end here for some reason will crash your game, which is 100% of the time, which is bad. So you want to kind of come up this way and then go straight forward and basically get just to it and then click. Alright, now we got the final boss. Alright, so here you're just going to ignore everyone other than the final boss. Ideally he won't fly away right away. You'll be able to cast some spells before he flies. Sometimes he does do this fly instantly. Okay, so here's what you're going to want to do. This is very important to do this optimally. Vulnerability Hex, Walking Bomb. Virulent Walking Bomb. Winter's Grasp. Well, just in any order, cast Winter's Grasp, Drain Life, and Arcane Bolt. And around that time is when he should fly the first time if you started him here. So let me try to show this off. Yeah, you can see there that he actually flew away, but I could still get one last cast off on him. And get that cast off too. Okay. Now the damage over time stuff is really going to start to work on him. He's going to want to run up here, because this is where he'll go right when he's about to die. So you may need to recast Vulnerability Hex here, depending on how quickly you did the first part. I'm going to do it just to be safe. I just want to finish him off. Alright, and I time as soon as I see that experience thing come up, so technically time the last hit, not when the cutscene starts playing. Because that can vary a little bit. So yeah, I mean, it might be better to just time there. But, as of right now, I'm timing as soon as the 222 experience thing pops up when you kill the Archdemon. And that's the run. So, I hope this gets used by someone. If not, maybe someone will appreciate learning about how this run works. But yeah, that's really all there is to say about the run. I'll try to highlight this. Definitely put it on YouTube as well. Which is probably where most people end up seeing it. Alright, so that'll be all for me tonight. I just wanted to get this done at some point, and today seemed like a good day.
Is there?
Not really gonna do any record attempts in this game anytime soon. Probably do some more AG2Q practice, but like more specifically aimed at
Ready, my lord?
like no reset RTA runs instead of in-game time runs. So yeah, you'll get to see all this fun stuff that you never did, and that'll be it. Alright,